to another Rich Habits, Poor Habits weekly video with Michael Yardney and Tom Corley. Welcome again, Tom.
It's great to be back, Michael. How you doing?
Great, thank you. And thank you for the vast number of people, the thousands and thousands of people all over the world who are now watching this every week on Tom and my blog, on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're enjoying it, please pass the message forward to one friend, let them know about this and spread the word. That'd be great. I'm getting emails from all over the world. And Tom, you've actually sent me some interesting ones that you've received recently too about the message that your words and your research is spreading.
Yeah, I'm getting emails from not only the United States and Australia, but for some reason they're catching these videos in Vietnam, in Mexico, in Brazil. So Michael, we're hitting the entire globe, I guess.
Well, it's interesting because this is all based on your research. For 5 years, you studied successful people, rich people and poor people, and you found they had certain habits. And then it's also given scientific, empirical evidence to the information and the research I've done over the years, which I've been studying successful people, having mentored over 2,000 people in the last 10 years. And what we're doing is passing the message on to people in general about the rich habits and the poor habits. But in this subsection, for the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing the beliefs. And I'd like to go through some more of those, Tom. The beliefs that you found in your study that change the way successful people, rich people think, and how different that is to the average person. So, Tom, I'd like to discuss another one with you. I'm looking at my list of many of the beliefs that you've come up here. And one of the ones that you found is that birds of a feather flock together. You've suggested that it's important to decide who you spend your time with and avoid certain people.
Yeah, what I found in my research in studying the self-made millionaires is that they focused on building relationships with like-minded, success-oriented people, positive, upbeat, optimistic people, because they didn't want to waste their time with toxic people. Toxic people just have nothing but negative things to say. There's always an issue. There's always a reason why you can't do something. They have so many, issues themselves that they throw those issues on you. And Donald Trump talks about this in his book, Why We Want You to Be Rich, with Robert Kiyosaki. I love that book because he and Robert get into how they pursue opportunities. And so they're birds of a feather, those two. They're flocking together. And they just like you and I are collaborating on a book, they collaborated on a book. There's a reason why they were drawn to each other. And together they're helping so many people by they talk about in the book how to change your mindset from negative to positive by using something called the what if game. I've written about it, and we've probably even talked about it in previous segments. But together those two are like dynamite. They work so well together, and I think that's one of the advantages that I found from associating with other like-minded, success-oriented people. Is they actually 1 and 1 equals 3. It doesn't equal 2.
We've discussed that before, the concept of teams, but I think the corollary to this is also that you should avoid people who are negative, who are toxic, who are naysayers, because they are going to try and bring you down. Now, Tom, they're not often doing this consciously. They're doing it at an unconscious level, because if you're successful, it actually highlights their perceived failures in their mind. It comes from a level of lack of confidence, doesn't it, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, if you succeed, Michael, that's really a big neon sign to them that they're failing in life. So they don't want you to succeed. I hate to say it, even your best friends who might be toxic, that you might have grown up with in childhood, they really don't want you to succeed if they're not successful, because it just accentuates their own lack of being successful. So they're going to throw things at you subconsciously. They're not even aware of it, but it infects you. It's a virus. It gets into your subconscious, and you start thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe Richie's right. Maybe this is impossible. What was I thinking? And next thing you know, you're pulling back on the reins. just when you were gaining momentum, a toxic person can pull the rug out from underneath you. So you got to stay away from them as much as possible, especially if you're pursuing a dream.
Now, this is sometimes hard because sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's somebody reasonably close to you. And again, it's not their fault. It's the conditioning they received from their poor parents. So it's not judging them as people. And I think there's times in your life where you can spend certain time with family members and others, but maybe you just don't share your goals and your dreams because they're going to knock you down. Interestingly, that's a very different mindset, a different belief to wealthy people who have an abundance mentality, and they figure that if you can do it, so can I. It actually doesn't stop me. It actually drives a successful person, while for an unsuccessful person, they see it as a demotivator, Tom.
Yeah, so the way I like to look at this is toxic people, when you come into contact with them, they start planting weeds in your garden. And so when it comes to success-minded people, people with a positive mental outlook, they're not planting weeds in your garden, Michael. They're planting fertilizer. And because they're planting fertilizer and spreading it around in your garden, you're going to grow more as an individual. You're going to become more confident, more optimistic, because you're looking at them and they did it. And they're telling you, you can do it because I did it. So, it gives you that boost that you need. And oftentimes, Michael, it's at a critical juncture when, maybe things aren't going exactly your way. And then, you have this circle of influence that's made up of nothing but success-minded people. And you jump on the phone and you talk to one of them and they pick you up and they make you realize, oh, these thoughts of mine are stupid. I'm just going to keep, pushing along, and I'm going to make this a success, and I can do it because so-and-so did it.
Fantastic. Now, Tom, a bit earlier in the session, you discussed this game that Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump played, the what if game. Do you want to just explain a bit about that and how one could use that?
Sure. So toxic people and success-minded people play the what if game. For toxic people, it's what if everything goes wrong? What if you fail? What if you lose money? For success-minded people, it's what if I succeed? What if I make a lot of money? What if it builds my brand? What if everybody likes me? What if I add tremendous value to society as a result? So there's the mindset changes how you play the what if game. And the what if game in the book, Why We Want You to Be Rich, by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump played that game when he was presented with the opportunity of The Apprentice, and he had a lot of people around him who were positive about it, but he had people around him who were negative, and they were they're just giving him advice. They would say, Donald, if this fails, it's going to hurt your brand. If it fails, people may not like you. It may be because of the nature of the television show. It may paint you in a negative light. And Donald Trump turned it on its head and he said, no, you're wrong. What if people love me? What if it's a raging success? And as he turns out, he was right. It became one of the biggest shows on television. It expanded his brand. Everybody knows who he is. And, look where he is today. He's running for president of the United States for the GOP. So, the guy has this positive outlook. He believes he can succeed, and he plays the what-if game the right way.
Great, interesting. So thank you very much. Again, we've discussed one of the many beliefs that differentiate the wealthy, rich, successful people from the average person. So next week, we're going to come back and discuss some more. Thank you very much for your time, Tom.
Thanks. It was a pleasure, Michael.
And for those who are watching this regularly, you're going to see it weekly on Tom's blog, on my blog, on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to our blogs and also pass it forward. Send this message just to one friend and spread the good word. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.